Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for today. And on today's show, for the first time ever, I have Santino Tomasetti. And he's a young entertainer in Branson doing some of his own original music, but also performing at the King's Castle Theater, as well as #1 hits of the 60s. So you're going to want to listen to his journey to Branson, how he got here, and just kind of what he's got new going on, really exciting stuff. And so you'll want to check that out here in just a moment. Now, occasionally on the show, I will give you some vacation tips for you to experience Branson better. And one of the things I did want to mention today is this publication here. You can find it all over town. It's called The Flavor of Branson. This lists every restaurant here in the area by category. So if you're like interested in pizza, you can see all the pizza restaurants or American food, different things like that. And then in the back of the book, there's probably about 20 to 30 coupons that can help stretch your vacation dollar even further. So if you're at the hotel watching this, check it out. It should be in your hotel lobby in a rack, or you could ask somebody at the front desk for The Flavor of Branson. Now, the other thing is if you look around town, you might still find this publication. This is our own magazine called Play Branson. We're just about out of these. There may be a few, and we're working on our next edition. So if you haven't seen this one, check it out. And the new one will be out pretty darn soon. So just a couple tips for you to think about while you're here in Branson. We'll be back in just a minute with more Play Branson. Welcome back to the show, and I've got somebody on, first time ever, Santino Tomasetti. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, I had a lot of people say, I got to have you on the show. And so, I don't know your history. So, you got to tell us how you got to Branson and how did that happen?
Yeah, for sure. So, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then 2011, I moved and went to New York. Lived in New York for a couple years, went to college, finished out college in Los Angeles afterwards. And then in 2017, I submitted for like an online, they were looking for a replacement for a dinner cruise. And I didn't know that that was the Showboat Branson Belle. Yeah, I had never heard of it and took a whim and took a jump. And 24 hours straight of driving later, I got into the Ozarks and then started rehearsals the next day.
That's crazy. But
yeah.
Here's what I want to do. I want to go back because you were in L.A. And so were you doing anything in L.A.?
Yeah. In New York and L.A., I spent a little bit of time after I had finished up my schooling. Was gigging, doing some theater gigs. A lot in New York was mostly like theater, playing guitar, kind of doing that, just finding little bars to jam with and find people and make the connections. I was still, 20 years old.
So you wanted to be in this business?
Always. I don't think that I could have ever seen myself doing anything else. Yeah, just was one of those very showy, loud kids. And I think that just being on stage and getting to sing and make noises was always something that seemed like it was right for me. And
so here you're in New York, you're in L.A.
Yeah.
And then you come to this little town in the middle of the country, Branson, Missouri. Like, that had to be a little bit of a culture shock.
Just a skosh. Yeah, I think that it's just some adjusting. I mean, motorcycle riding and camping and all of that stuff was ingrained in us when we were kids, but you just kind of forget about it when you're taking the subway at 4 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 5 to get to an audition, and hopefully you got a half hour of sleep if you were lucky. In LA, I mean, traffic for hours and hours, no matter how far away you are, it just seems like it's never ending. So getting this refreshing change of living on a lake and rent being so cheap.
There we go.
Right. That's the shameless plug for you. Yeah. Just this, that was, of course, different in, how late things are going on for. It's kind of when the shows are over in the summertime, everything really starts to quiet down and die down. But the same thing exists in both of those huge cities that exists here, which is this incredible group of collaborative musicians and artists who all want to support each other and work out. Arguably better here than in Los Angeles. So many best friends that I've made here, and so many cool shows and cool opportunities and cool connections as still, you know, like a young, aspiring business person and musician, that I'm so thankful for this town.
So when did you get this role on the Showboat when you first came to Branson? When was that?
May 2017. Had rehearsal for 2 weeks, and then we're up for the summer.
Okay.
Yep. Got to do, I'm not sure if you heard, it was only there for 1 year, it was the Country on the Lake show.
Okay.
It's a country show that they were trying to pitch there, and it was a lot of fun. And again, just what a great band, so many good musicians, and lifelong friends I made from that show.
Okay. So what happened after that?
So I was there. I then jumped over to Silver Dollar City for a couple months to do a show. And then I stuck around on the Showboat for 2 more years. And then right before the pandemic, because nobody knew that was going to happen, I was like, this is a great time to totally uproot myself again.
Yeah.
So I moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Had another performing job there because I'm a songwriter. Said that this would be a great opportunity. And then was there just in enough time to rehearse my show, get hit by a tornado, and then have the pandemic happen. So it was it was a great 2020.
Let's talk about that, because you talked about songwriting.
Yeah.
So kind of delve into that a little bit, because sometimes people just sing songs, but if you're writing them, that's a whole nother world.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those, you know, writing helps you be a better performer, performing helps you be a better writer thing. So I definitely gained the benefit of both of them. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, when did I get my first guitar? I want to say like 9 or 10 years old, but I'm left-handed, so I think I strung it backwards and then tried to figure it out.
So you
there.
play it like this?
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah.
I play it like that, but I don't play that much. But yeah, okay.
So I started playing for a couple years just as a kid, and then I think probably in high school, you know, as you go through your angsty phases, you need some form to express yourself, and you know, just singing or doing choir and musicals wasn't enough. So I started writing, and then was in one little dinky band in high school, and then out of high school started writing my own music a lot when I was in New York. I would come back for the summers, you know, go back to Pittsburgh. Had a couple of buddies that I formed a band with. We put out a couple of albums. I had such a great time with them, and again, still a couple of my best friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're in Nashville. Mm-hmm. The pandemic hits. Something obviously brought you back to Branson, or so did you stay over there during the pandemic, or did you come back here? Or?
No, I came back here. My girlfriend is still performing on the Showboat. And so we were able to kind of just, you know, isolate ourselves together. And definitely, again, the benefit of being in a place like Branson as opposed to a larger city is that, you know, you're not around that many people, and you can still go out and enjoy outdoorsy things. We were able to go hiking and kayaking and not feel the pressure of, are we doing anything wrong?
Yeah.
We're outdoors, we're getting some sunshine, it's all healthy. So again, I was so thankful to be here. And then that summer, I was able to pick up a little bit of work around town as well, go back to Silver Dollar City, keep myself busy working on music, just woodshedding, because what else did we have to do?
Well, and it was a tough time for, everybody, but especially entertainers. And Branson was at least one of the few places where entertainment was happening, although it wasn't, you know, there wasn't a ton of people here coming, but it was open. So
and they were doing an incredible job of keeping the theaters open and keeping people safe and protected. I had so many friends who were making Broadway debuts in 2020, and then it all just fell through, or maybe they got on like previews for a couple weeks and then their shows closed.
Okay, so you have some new music coming out, and we're going to stop right here, and we're going to come back and talk about this new music in just a minute. So hang tight. We'll be right back.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We are here with Santino Tomasetti. an entertainer here in town, and you have some new music. And so a new album, new singles, or whatever. You just tell us all about it.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's been a several year journey in 2017, writing a lot of music. 2018, trying to figure out what those guys do behind a computer and how that works. And then the last couple of years have gone on a little longer than I wanted to, but nothing like a global pandemic to motivate you to get your stuff together and figure out the things that you really want to do. So last year I just started recording in my dining room. And then from that actually came the Dining Room EP, which a lot of the songs that are going to be on this album, they're just acoustic versions of. And that was, oh gosh, I feel like I released that in, I want to say maybe October of last year. And then the first fully fleshed single for this album was released in December. It's called Hold Me. The songs bounce around a little bit genre-wise, but for the most part, it's singer-songwriter, soul rock, that type of thing. It's
not hard rock.
No, it's not.
Hard rock.
I just have a really eclectic taste, so it's really hard for me to try to hone in and give you the 2-second pitch on what my music is. But I listen to everything from Al Green to Metallica when I was a kid. So there's
a whole bunch in there.
Exactly. There's a bunch of expansive stuff. So the first single kind of is more of a contemporary James Bay guitarist, sad boy is the trending term for that type of music that first song was. And I loved it, super happy. The next single that came out in January was called Down the Hatch, which is named after my favorite bar in New York, where I had met my ex-girlfriend that I had dated for 4 years. And I know it sounds funny, but you don't want cool moments in your life that were emblematic of a beautiful time in your life to be tattered by it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. So right as she and I were breaking up in 2017, I wrote this song about it, and it was just supposed to be one of these like, hey, didn't work out, but we had some good times. And then I was lucky enough to have all of my friends from the Showboat come in and sing background vocals on the end of the song. So there's this beautiful choir at the end of it. Yeah. That's all of my best friends.
Yeah. And so I listened to a song that was 2222 last night on Spotify. And so I was like, did you release that on that date?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I woke up that day. I was like, oh, what a strange day this is. And so I just started writing a song, coming up with it, and then said, all right, get to the computer, cooked up a little drum beat behind my recording of a guitar and wrote a couple of verses, and then said, all right, the song's coming out today.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, why not?
So you have another song coming out, tomorrow?
Yes, yeah. It's March 18th tomorrow. Super excited. There was one other single that was released prior to this called Scream, which is about just being, just enjoying life as you're supposed to, like a little kid, just scream as loud as you can. Yeah.
But it's not a Screamo song.
No. Oh my gosh, no.
Because I did listen to this one too. So I listened to lots of them. I went in and I didn't listen to every song, the whole one, but I did listen to them. And you could tell that they're not all the same style.
No.
And that's good.
Right. Especially young. I'm still finding my sound. All of them are kind of connected through just me and a guitar. Yeah. And for the most part, it's a lot of, a band being backed by a guy with an acoustic guitar, because that's kind of how I have generated myself through this industry. Yeah. But yes, so the new single that's coming out, oh my gosh, I am really, really so excited about it, because I have been working my tail off, sitting in my bedroom, staring at my computer, making sure everything sounds perfect. It's called Sunshine in December.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And I think I wrote that, I want to say it was either December of 2019 or December of 2020. I was sitting on a park bench eating a sandwich, and it was like 60 outside or 70 outside in the sun. And then the song just came to me, and it's very fun, uplifting vibe. There's horns, got a little like soul background section of some background girl singers. It's one of those you could just drive in the car and just bob your head and have a good time, and and it just gets hooked in your in your brain real quick.
You can just feel your enthusiasm, and I love that. It's like you're excited about what you're doing, and I love it that Branson entertainers, number one, there's always a misconception that all Branson entertainers are old. Okay, and that's not true because I've interviewed a ton that are young, right? But there is, for people that don't really know, they think that is sometimes a misconception.
For sure.
Right? And so you're a young guy. You're doing original music. Now, you're also in a show this year, or a couple shows. So talk about what shows people can see you in.
Yeah, so I'm in 4 shows this year. I'm in 3 at King's Castle. We've already opened Anthems of Rock, which through February has only been open on Fridays and Saturdays. But now in March, we're going to be open Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday, and Saturday night. Then I'm in New Jersey Nights, which is the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons show they have there, which, I just have such a soft spot in my heart for, because I love Motown and doo-wop music.
Yeah.
Like, that's just so my pocket, which you'll hear when you listen to Sunshine in December. That one is, what do we have? Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And then the third show that I'm doing there is Dancing Queen, which is our 70s disco show, which, there might be some ABBA in there as well.
Oh, yeah, there's some ABBA.
Yes. And then I also will be going in 1 show a week on Thursday afternoons at Number 1 Hits of the 60s at Clay Cooper's.
So you're singing like all types of music,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You're going from everything to rock to disco to, Frankie Valli stuff and then all the 60s and 70s. So
once again, all that bleeds through in my music that you're like, oh, this guy's a little confused.
So where can people get your music, find out more about it? Those kind of things.
Yeah. Social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Santino Sings, because my last name is way too complicated for people to learn, let alone type. And then I'll also have my website, which is going to be Santino Sings, which should be live right now.
Okay.
And then, you can just see my pretty face around town, and you could bug me, and I'll happily, I'll probably be walking around bugging people and saying like, hey, check out my music.
Now, if somebody wanted to, like, if they go to the website, if somebody wanted to hire you for an event, can they do that as long as it doesn't conflict with your other stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, okay. I've been doing, I fiddled 3 years straight. We did the New Year's Eve event over at the Chateau with a party band. It was one of my favorite things that I got to do.
Yeah.
Done events at Big Cedar, Hilton, on people's boats, around campfires,
So whatever, right?
Exactly. I'm not picky.
Okay. When you're not performing, tell us one thing you like to do.
One of my favorite things that I'm getting into right now, which is kayaking, is the short answer. The long answer is I've been loving going on walks and listening to audiobooks. Okay. I am not a reading person. I'm much more of a, audio. That's how I learn. Mm-hmm. And I've really gotten late to the game, I suppose. But man, these audiobooks, especially audiobooks of famous people. I finished Maurice White's book From Earth, Wind, and Fire. Clive Davis, Soundtrack of My Life, which is one of the classic music books. And right now, I also do actors' books, especially after I met Shirley Jones from the Partridge Family, and she gave me her book. I read that and had a great time with it. But Bryan Cranston's book I'm listening to right now, and it's so good. What a life that guy had.
There we go. Santino, I tell you what, I love your enthusiasm. I love your passion. Folks, go check out his music. Santino Sings, Santino.
Santino
Sings.
Yeah.
Yeah, santinosings.com.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
Or you can check him out on Instagram, Facebook. I listened to it on Spotify the other night. So we'll be back in just a minute to wrap up the show. Welcome back to Play Branson, folks. We are wrapping the show up today. We want to encourage you to go check out Santino's music on santinosings.com. I love it when a Branson entertainer is putting out original stuff. We want to encourage that. We want to promote that as much as we can here on this show. So go check that out. Be sure to check him out at the shows at King's Castle. You can find him over there at Anthems of Rock. New Jersey Nights and Dancing Queen. And then he's on Thursdays, I think he said, #1 hits of the 60s. Next week's entertainer that I have coming on the show is what I would really call a very influential person in Branson's entertainment industry. To me, he's really almost like a living legend, and that's the one and only D.A. Calloway. And so he'll be on next week's show. You'll want to check that out. And here's the deal. If you're like, man, I've never been to Branson, I'm thinking about coming, what should I do? How do I plan? I see people on the Facebook all the time asking this. Folks, go to ibranson.com. Those folks can help plan your entire vacation. You can get your shows, your attractions, your hotels. You can do it all at one spot. It's easy, it's simple. There's no costly service fees, delivery fees. They're not going to make any pitches to you on taking, presentation time. And so it's just good service from local folks. So go to ibranson.com or call them at 877-ENTERTAIN. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on Play Branson.